Hi everyone and welcome. Today I'm going to talk about my plans and goals for next year, so 2023. Now if you know me, you know that I love making lists, you know that I love making plans and get all excited for next year. So to say that this video is something that I'm quite excited about is an understatement. Now for the rest of December I'm also going to put out some other plans and goals video for 2023, but those are going to be more specific, so TBRs, anticipated releases, stuff like that. This is more a general overview. And then in January, I am going to look back at 2022. So I'm also going to look at that plans and goals video and see how I succeeded. Now, spoiler alert, I failed miserably. I think that the majority of the plans and goals that I set for myself, I did not reach. So because I don't really care too much about that, this is just a fun way to get excited about reading. I don't really feel bad about that. I find it funny more than anything. So we have those two. However, for 2023, I am quite hopeful and I have a couple of plans, a couple of goals, but all in all, it's more a way to make reading more exciting for me. So, first one is of course the goal of how many books do I want to read. And last year I put 72 books as a reading challenge, and again, spoiler alert, I did not reach that. I was in a reading slump for 3 months where I did not read anything, and then before and after that reading slump, I was also not at my normal speed. So for half of the year, I did not read as much as I would anticipate at all. So that 72 book reading challenge, it's not happening. However, for 2023, I'm still putting 72 books on my Goodreads reading challenge. And that's because I like these reading challenges to be challenging. I know that some people get stressed out by that, so they put a goal that they can hit with ease. Halfway through the year, they've hit their goal. And if that works for them, that's fine. However, for me, then I don't really see the point in putting a challenge there. If I don't succeed, like now, it's December, I know that I shouldn't try, I knew that in September as well, then that's fine. I just put that goal aside. But if there's a possibility that I succeed, the end of the year gets all that more exciting, and that's what I'm going for. I'm going for, in September 2023, thinking, okay, I need to read that many books per month, and then I will hit my goal. That's a fun way to look at that challenge for me. So that's why I'm putting 72. It's something that I can reach, but not with extreme ease, and I also know that that's never going to be a goal that I hit halfway through the year. So 72, 6 books per month, I want to say per week, that's not possible, but 6 books per month should be possible. Now, as always, I want to be 50-50 between audiobooks and physical reads. Part of that is because audiobooks, love them, think that they do count as reading, but I often listen to audiobooks while I'm driving to work. So it's something that I do while I'm doing other things. While physical reading for me is more intentional, it's something that I put time aside for in my free time, and that's something that I want to continue doing. I don't feel good if at the end of the day I feel like I've not really done anything productive, I've been scrolling social media, and if you find that okay, if at the end of the day you don't really have an issue with that, then that's fine, but I do. So that's why I want to have my physical reading as something that I do every day and be consistent about that. So that's why I want to keep both of those 50-50 more or less. And I think that that should be possible. Now, in terms of different reading genres, this is something that every year I set way too many goals for myself. I want to read fantasy, that's what I love, but I also want to read historical fiction, I want to read sci-fi, I want to read the classics, and to be honest, I just don't read enough for that to be a priority. That constricts me too much to have certain books on a TBR. I'm also obviously buddy reading a lot. I'm part of read-alongs. So at the end, it felt like for the entirety of the year, in advance, I knew which books I had to read which months, and that's just not fun. So I don't really have a goal for genres that I want to read. The only goal that I have is read a lot of fantasy and maybe read a little bit of sci-fi, and we'll see. I am definitely going to make a sci-fi TBR. That's just the physical sci-fi books that I have on my shelves, but I don't really have a time limit for those. Now, one that I would like to start is A Memory Called Empire by Arkady Martin, because this is the first in a sci-fi duology, and I do think that that's something that would work for me because I don't really read a lot of sci-fi. Let's just try a duology. A lot of political intrigue, and I think that it would be possible to finish this duology next year, but again, not really strings attached here. And another author that I want to try that's also sci-fi is Octavia E. Butler's Parable of the Sower. This is again the start of a duology. I think that you can definitely read this one as a standalone if you want to, so hooray for that. Also a short read, and one that I don't think is hard sci-fi in any means, so one that I would probably enjoy as well. So those are the two on my physical TBR that if I pick up a sci-fi next year, that's probably going to be the one. Also, Pierce Brown's Red Rising series, I think that at least the second trilogy is going to end. And I don't know if that will be the overall ending of the series, of the show, I wanted to say, of the series. But I still need to read Dark Age, which is the 5th book. So I would like to read that one before that new release hits so that I can read that one and be done with Red Rising. But again, we will see. The only thing that I know is that I want to read fantasy, and I'm not going to put any number on classics that I want to read, historical fiction, stuff like that, because I have way too many fantasy TBR on my shelves already. Now, with fantasy, I also really want to start new series, but I'm in the middle of quite a bit of series as well. Now, the series that I want to continue and finish in 2023, that's going to be a specific video, as well as the standalones that I want to read in 2023, but I would like to do something fun with that. So I'm going to make some TBR jars. Now, this is an example. This is actually one of my Christmas deco stuff where I have a little candle in, so definitely not this one. But I would like to have 2 jars, one with all my standalones that I have on my physical TBR, as well as one with the continuation of series that I currently have on my physical TBR. And what I would like to do is each month just pick one out of both of those jars and try to read it that month. So that would put my physical TBR or my TBR, my monthly TBR, you could say, set to 2 books that I should read that month. Now again, I'm not taking this too seriously. If I pick 2 books that are absolutely humongous, I have read-alongs going on that month, it just doesn't happen, then that's fine. Then the next month I'm just not going to pick another one and it gets postponed to that month. But it would be nice also as a way to see what I'm still interested in. Now, I know that I've talked about this before, but it's probably been a while, but I am good at DNFing when I'm in the middle of a book. If I'm really not feeling that book, I DNF it, that's fine. I'm bad at DNFing series. If I read the first book or the second book of a series and I finished that book, I have a very hard time of saying I'm not going to continue with the series. Apparently that's very weird. I know that most people are the other way around. They are fine with DNFing series and stopping after the second book, even though there's still a third and a fourth one. But they have difficulties with DNFing a book in the middle. I'm the other way around. And I think that having this series TBR jar will make me realize that there are just some series that I really need to DNF. So if I pick a book from that jar and I don't read it months after having picked that little note, that's a sign that I should DNF it. So it's more of a way to see what I have on my shelves and to prioritize some books that I might not even think of. So that's something that I would like to do every month. That way, every month I read at least 1 standalone and 1 continuation of series. And besides that, of course, I am going to continue with my seasonal TBRs. So when I first started the channel, which is 2 years ago at this point, I made 1 seasonal TBR and I failed pretty badly. But after a while, I made monthly TBRs. And for the longest time, that was great for me. That downsized my possibilities and it made it easier for me to pick my next read. And if you're not in a reading slump, that's absolutely fine. However, when that reading slump hit again, it made me feel a little bit stressed out because I had so many buddy reads on my TBR for that month, or I had 6 books on my TBR for that month, but I was very peculiar with the type of books that I wanted to read at that point, and it was just too constricting for me. So I changed to seasonal TBRs. That's what I did for the last 3 months of 2022. It worked for me, so I'm going to continue with that. So the idea of seasonal TBRs will probably be to put 10 books on that TBR for the next 3 months. And then, as I said, every month I will pick, probably, if it works out, 2 books from standalones and continuations of series. And that way, hopefully, for every season, I will read around 15 books. Now, that will probably not be enough to hit my 72 books per year, but that's fine because that also, again, leaves some room to just be spontaneous in the moment and pick a book that I want to read because it came out and because I forgot about it, or because I heard somebody else talk about it, or because some people are doing a read-along for it and I want to pick it up. And then I actually have room on my TBR to do so. Now, in terms of the books that I know I'm going to read next year, of course, we have the reread of A Song of Ice and Fire together with the 2 Joannas, Alex and Scott. I'm very excited for that. We are going to read the 5 books in the A Song of Ice and Fire series that's currently out. We're probably also going to read the novellas from Dunk and Egg. I think that there are 3 out at the moment. And maybe also the Fire and Blood. So there's definitely a couple of books that we want to read, but those 5 are for 2023. Maybe we'll continue. Maybe that will be in 2023, or maybe that will be in 2024. Just those 5, that's what we're certain about. Now, I'm not going to count these towards my TBRs because, like I said, those are rereads. I know that I love them and I know that I'm probably going to fly through them. And then a reread that I definitely want to do, but that's just on my own, and I don't have any plans, is The Realm of the Elderlings by Robin Hobb. This is probably once I finish it and once I've reread A Song of Ice and Fire, so I have more or less a realistic idea. I think that Realm of the Elderlings is going to be my favorite series of all time. So I definitely want to reread it. I don't know how far I'll get. I am not the biggest rereader, and Realm of the Elderlings is a series that I've read quite recently, so I know a lot about it. Maybe I'll start rereading and decide that it's too soon. I should just pause and wait a couple of years. Maybe I start rereading and I finish the entire Realm of the Elderlings in a year. And maybe I start and I only finish the Farseer trilogy. I don't really have a schedule for that, just that these are comfort reads and I am not really ready to let go of Fitz just yet. So once I finish it, I think that I just want to go back and start again. But how fast I will go, how slow I will go, not really an idea. Those are the two series that I will be rereading in 2023, and that's also going to be the first time that I actually reread a series from start to finish. So that's going to be quite exciting. And then, as I mentioned before, there are definitely also some new series that I want to start in the fantasy genre. In terms of buddy reads or read-alongs, I don't really have any idea about that yet. I do know that I am going to read a couple with friends over on Discord, but official ones with live shows, stuff like that, only A Song of Ice and Fire is set in stone at this point. But that series TBR that I'm going to start in 2023 is also coming in the month of December, so we'll see. I know that last year I had 15 series on that list, that's way too much, so I'm probably going to narrow it down to 10. That doesn't mean that those are the 10 that I'm only going to start, but those are the ones that I'm most excited for at this point in time. We will see. One of the series that's going to be on the list, but again as an add-on, I'm not really going to count it at those 10, that's Discworld by Terry Pratchett, just because I think that that's an audio book series that I'm going to enjoy quite a bit. I also think that even though there are almost 50 books in the series, it's one that you don't really need to commit to with every month one book. If you want to pause it for 6 months, that's absolutely fine as well. There are sub-series, so that's just a nice one that I want to add to the list, but I'm not really going to commit myself to any period of time that I need to finish them. It could be that I'm only finishing 2 Discworld novels in 2023, and that's fine. It could also be that I finish 2 every month. Who knows? Now, one thing that I did say was that I want to make reading more exciting. I want to make reading a priority. I love reading, and especially after being in a reading slump, after having a lot of free time, but not really knowing what to do with it, because usually I would read, but I was too stressed out and I was losing the fun of reading, you could say. It was not the nicest period of 2022, so I want to try to not have that anymore and to just see the fun of reading. So part of that is reading every day, making reading a priority for me. And one of the things that I did on the channel was, for the last month at the very least, I think at this point we had 3 weekly reading sprints. So every Tuesday evening, I still really want to do those reading sprints for 2023 as well. Now, of course, nothing is written in stone. If something happens with the schedule and it cannot happen on Tuesday, then that is just the way that it is. But I would like to have them every week. This is something that makes me feel very productive at the end of the day. I have had a nice chat with all of you, people in the chat, and at the same time, I got some reading done and I wasn't really scrolling social media. So that's something that I wanted to keep. The other thing that I think makes reading quite exciting is to have small challenges. Like I said, this is something that does not really stress me out. This is something that I find enjoyable to try and to see if I fail. That's funny as well. That also teaches me something about myself. And I think that these challenges are best done in vlog style. So I've done 1 vlog in the last 6 months probably, maybe 2. I've done a vlog about Stardust by Neil Gaiman, and I've also done a vlog about a new potential favorite and whether or not that was a favorite. Now, I really like those. I like team vlogs more than weekly vlogs or 24-hour reading vlogs where you don't really have a clear challenge, because with a challenge and with a team in those vlogs, you have a little bit of a story, and I really like seeing how that gets put together at the end of the vlog when I'm editing everything. I like that as a nice little cozy story almost. So for next year, I would like to have those vlogs. Like I've said in the past as well, vlogs do take quite a bit of practice and you need to really set some time aside every day to do a vlog. Like this is a sit-down video. Of course, I need to get ready for that. I need to put everything, but if I film for an hour, that's the end. And then I can put everything aside and I can continue with life for a week without having to think about filming. With a vlog, if you want to update every day, you need to think about it. You need to make sure that everything is tidy. You need to make sure that you're a little bit presentable, stuff like that. And I also like it when you have nice B-rolls for vlog. Editing is a lot more. So I'm not going to say every month vlog, but that would be nice. Things that I would like to do is have specific books that I want to read in a spoiler-free manner. Maybe I want to also vlog my experience of rereading A Song of Ice and Fire, as well as rereading Realm of the Elderlings in a spoiler-free way. But I would also like to put some challenges for myself. So for example, reading 1 hour a day. Is it possible or not? If that works, reading 2 hours a day, reading 3 hours a day, having vlogs like that, and just see if, even if I succeed in that, is it fun? Maybe I can read 3 hours a day for a week, but will I have had a good time? Or do I decide that 1 to 2 hours is more than enough because otherwise I don't have time for other hobbies? I also think that vlogs are just a really fun way to also incorporate other things of my life that I find interesting, but that I don't really have an entire channel about. For example, board games. I love talking about board games. I know that some of you also really enjoy that, but I don't really have the expertise to really have board game videos just about board games. I love walking with my dogs. I love showing my dogs in videos, showing a couple of tricks that they know, but I'm not a dog trainer. So having an entire video about just that, that's not really fun. But for the people who like me and who are on my Discord and who know a little bit more about my personality, or who are not just here for the books. And by the way, if you're just here for the books, that's fine as well. But for those people, I think that those vlogs will be interesting as well to watch. And for me, it's fun to look back. I know that my husband thinks that my vlogs are the type of content that he enjoys most of all, just because it's our life and that's fun to watch. So that's something that I would also like to do in the future. Now, part of the thing that I love about BookTube is, of course, the interaction. I think that we have a very cozy community. I think that we are the best community on YouTube, and I want to really keep that way. I think that I have a quite small channel, and one of the benefits of that is that I know most people who come around. If you've commented on a couple of my videos, if you're on my Discord, I know who you are. I might get confused sometimes about the books that you've read, because if a lot of people talk about that, sometimes I switch things up, but I definitely recognize your names, and I love that we can have that back and forth that you can't have on a very big channel. So that's something that I definitely want to put on the forefront, want to prioritize as well, have input from you guys, and have that interaction. So part of that is also taking into consideration what you guys want to see, and having that open conversation possible. I've said this in the past, I have way too many ideas about the type of videos that I want to make, and I don't have the time to film all of them. And I have those ideas in my head, so the only reason to actually make all of this possible and to film all of that and to put time in editing is if I can get interaction out of it. If I upload a video, nobody responds, then I could have just not uploaded that. So it's fun to see what you guys find interesting, if we can have a conversation and see the things that you would like most of all. That's why I find the community tab quite useful, because I can put a lot of polls. Hey, what video do you want to see next week? And the one that wins, the one that will get the most interaction, the one that you guys enjoy most of all, that's the one that I will make. In terms of that interaction, that back and forth, I think that I definitely want to maintain the weekly updates again. Can I do them every Sunday? It appears not, because I am failing quite considerably lately, but I will try to do better in 2023. And again, if it doesn't work, it doesn't work, but that's something that I like, just because it's a very casual sit-down conversation. I'm talking about my week, but you guys can talk about your week as well. So I have said in the beginning of this video that I wanted to keep this quite casual, not have too many plans, not have too many goals, but I am a planner, I am a list maker. I like to schedule things, I can't help myself. So for weekly updates and weekly uploads, I would like to have those weekly reading sprints every Tuesday evening. That's Central European time. Will not work for everyone, but it's what works best for me. And I do know that quite a bit of people who watch my videos are in Europe, and that's also the best time for them. Then every Sunday, I would like to have the weekly update, chat, sit-down videos. And then I would like to have at least one other video. So either on Wednesdays or Saturdays, I would prefer to have both of them. So sit-down videos where I talk about TBRs, wrap-ups, recommendation videos. I love making recommendation videos. But also the vlog type videos will be one of those 2 days probably. And if there's anything that you guys want to see, definitely let me know. Like I said, I do love that input. And if you want to have a more back and forth conversation, if you think that that's an easier way for you to contact me and to reach me, definitely join my Discord, because that's where I am like 24 hours a day. I always have my Discord open when I'm on my laptop. So I hear the notifications, and that's just a fun way to interact with everybody. Now, I do think that that's most of the things that I wanted to say. I had a little bit of a list, but I was freestyling it for the majority of the time. The reading sprints, yes. Cozy community with a lot of input, yes. And I think that that was basically it. So yeah, if there's anything that you guys want to see for the 2023 plans and goals videos that I have for December, definitely let me know if there are any videos that you want to see. And if you want to see some from the looking back at 2022 that I have planned for January, also let me know. And if there is a type of content that you would like to see for the next year that I have not talked about yet, or if there are some type of videos that I'm making that you don't find that interesting, also definitely let me know. I love having that input and knowing what every one of you wants to see. So that's it. I look forward to the rest of the videos that I have planned. I still need to make those TBR jars by the way. Let me know what you have planned for 2023. Are you a planner or not. And if you do want to see my last plans and goals video and laugh about how badly I did, you can watch that one right here. As always, I hope that you enjoyed this video and see you next time. Bye!